I had my way, everything would be so nice. This world would be like Paris. No, it would be a paradise. No one would ever have to say, I'm gonna get my wish someday. All one would have to do is say, this is my order, if you may.
Welcome to another episode of The School Without Walls. I'm Antonio Hobbs, host and founder of this educational program. My guest today is Mr. Brendan Bateman. He is the owner and producer of a magazine called Envision. Glad to have you with us today.
Glad to be here today.
Before we go into the magazine, let's get a little background about you, where were you born and educated, and whether you have brothers and sisters. Let's talk a little bit about that and get them on record, in as much as we are making history here. This is part of history. Okay, go right ahead.
Well, like I said, my name is Brendan Bateman. I'm from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I went to school in Pine Bluff School District, Pine Bluff High. You know,
Graduate there?
Graduate from Pine Bluff High, yes.
Okay.
I have brothers and sisters. I have about 6 or 7
Brothers
total.
and sisters, I see. You want to name your parents?
My mother's name is Joanne Battles. Father is Willie Battles.
They both are living?
Yes.
Are your father related to the Reverend Battles? Are you acquainted with the Reverend Battles that pastor the Mount Nemo Baptist Church? Have you heard of Mount Nemo Baptist Church over on 2nd Street?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, I see. Okay, well, you tell us about this paper, this magazine here.
Well,
What is the title? It's called Envision, right?
Envision, yes.
When did you envision the idea of the magazine?
Well, I came up with the magazine about a year ago, around this time, actually. I just wanted to have something different. I was seeing a few magazines, and I just wanted mine to be different from others. Well, I started doing photography first, and then I was like, well, instead of me actually submitting my photos to magazines, why not create my own? That way I can show people through my magazine what I actually want to display as far as, you know, my photography work and as well as others.
I see. Now, what is the mission and purpose of this magazine?
Well, the purpose of it is actually to help aspiring models, talent rather, whether it's photographers, models, business owners, and help them actually get their name out, you know, and gain exposure based off being submitted, you know, to the magazine. I
see. That seems to be good. You're trying to help a person get started in their various arts or various areas, right?
Right.
That's wonderful. That's a very positive thing. And how long have you been in business?
Well, our first issue was actually released in March of this year, so we're coming up on our first year.
Now, where do you get this training, this type of training? Where did you get that?
To be honest, I learned it all on my own.
You just learned it on your own?
I just picked it up, and I went on YouTube and for things that I didn't know how to do, but pretty much I just, you know, self-taught.
This layout and everything, you're the idea behind this.
Yes, sir.
That's wonderful. And you just tell us a little bit, tell the community how you got this page. How did you get that together?
Well,
what is the process?
Well, first what I do is I get a paper and pen. I take notes on how I want everything to be laid out. After that, I use this program on a computer called InDesign, where it pretty much gives you like a set amount of pages. Once you actually format each thing within the page, then you switch it up and convert it to PDF. And then after that, you ship it to the publishing company that you'll use, and then they'll print everything up.
The publishing company puts all of this together here, right? You don't do that, but do you type up everything that's in here?
Yes, sir.
Yourself?
And all they pretty much do is just print it.
Just print it. That is amazing. Do you do all this yourself?
Yes, sir. Well, I have a few writers who write for me, and then I have a graphic designer. If it's something that I can't do, I'll ask her to send me over vectors and everything, and she'll do that. But
now, this young lady right here, you actually met her someplace?
yes, sir.
Where is she from?
Well, she's actually from Chicago, but she goes to school in Little Rock at Philander Smith
So
College.
you met her at Philander Smith?
Yes, sir.
Need that. Okay. And she's aspiring to be a model, is she?
Yes, sir.
All right, now this dedication, that's you?
Yes, sir.
Let's see. My. And you just have a high school education?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, boy. You must have had a mighty good high school education because you're looking so professional here and everything. It's just amazing to me. Tell me, who is this right here?
Well, those are also aspiring models. Like, she's actually 16. She was featured in my fashion show that I had this past August, and then she's going to also be featured in my next issue that comes out in January. It's a kids issue.
I see. And this lady here, she's more mature than the rest of them, is she?
Yeah, she was our influence of the month for this issue. She has a store location in Little Rock called Giante's.
Now, these ads, do they pay you for this material that's put in here? What does it mean of generating money?
Well, actually, the purpose of the magazine is well, I'm trying to become a non-profit magazine. So what I do is, with all the money that we actually circulate for the issues, I donate it back into the community.
But what I'm trying to find out, where do you get the money to do this to start with?
Well, people purchase ads.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Each all of these are ads that are purchased by people. I see. Okay, I think we've finished the first quarter. I'm going to start this conversation, but I can't finish it on this side. But what I would like for you to consider is, along with what you're doing here, is have something sort of academic. Did Latasha tell you about what I had in mind? Something to run along with this is sort of academic.
Right.
Yeah, and I could provide you some possibilities on that line. Let's stop for the
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Those of you who've just joined us, I'm Antonio Hobbs, host and founder of this educational program called The School Without Walls. My guest today is Mr. Brandon Bateman. He is the founder, editor, owner of a magazine, right?
Yes, sir.
Called the Envision. And we were talking about what the objective is and so forth and so on. I believe you have mostly young women in here, don't you?
Well, this is a process that I'm going through with the actual publications. So when I started out, I wanted to start with just women, and then I was going to introduce children, and then after that, I was going to introduce men, and then everything. Just so it keep people wondering and guessing what's going to be within the next issue.
I got you. I think it's fine to start with the first thing. You want to get some attention, and we have a tendency to, well, I say the women have a tendency to attract our attention, right?
Right.
So that's a good, excellent. Before we move further, I also want to mention to you and to the public the purpose of my program, this School Without Walls. It's designed primarily to educate the African American community. We have so many things that we, as a family, need to know that we cannot learn or do not learn within the walls of the public school system. That's why most of us attend the public school system. So it's not considered as a show, but an educational program. We talk about things such as the importance of speaking standard English. Are you aware that many of the African Americans are disadvantaged when it comes to standard correct English? Are you conscious of that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, that's good, because if you're conscious of it, then you can monitor yourself, and you can make sure that you can pull out of the tradition of the family, which is not, should not be looked up as bad, but it's different than the standard English, right?
Correct.
So we talk about things like that. From time to time I get people on who are scholars in the area. For example, we should be trained to be bilingual, but we're not, you see. And we're criticized by speaking our mother's tongue, which is unfair. Whatever your mother's tongue is, it's natural for you to speak that. And our mother's tongue, if we go back in history, is not English, it's African. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And our grandparents back in the day picked up English without English teachers, so they passed it on to us. And we need to be taught not to be ashamed of it, but we need to realize that we can't use it in the corporate world. So we should be taught as bilingual.
Right.
And that's not being taught to us. So these are some examples of what this program is all about.
Okay.
And stress the importance of knowing your history. For example, there was a scholar named Shakespeare. You might have heard of him in your literature classes.
Correct.
And Shakespeare said, "To thine own self be true, and that should follow as the night follows the day. Therefore you'll find yourself false to no man. Know who you are." That is not being taught in the public school system today. Whereas if you would be conscious of this, you can't graduate from high school without understanding European history, because they know it's important for their children. You see, we know more about other people than we do ourselves. And as long as we stay in that frame of mind, we can never compete with other people. You got to first know yourself.
Right.
And you should strive to do that regardless of whether the school's provided or not. When you learn, as I've learned, I pass it on to you, and then you think about it, you try to get you some books and study. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, while we're on that, Randy, what do we have, about 2 more minutes with him? Got 4 more minutes. I want to ask you a question. First of all, we want to be clear, this is a very good magazine, and I wish you luck with it. We want to make sure it's shown. And I'm asking the people to be sure to purchase this book. Entrepreneurship is a part of the purpose of this program, too. This is entrepreneurship. We're trying to train our young people that you do not have to always work for somebody else.
Correct.
You should have the mind to want to have a job where you can employ people eventually. That's where you are, right?
Yes, sir.
And may God bless you on that. If there's anything I can do to help you, let me know. But I want to ask you about this before we close. We've got 3 minutes. You're aware that throughout America, a lot of people are upset because of the way some police have mistreated African Americans. Are you conscious of that?
Yes, sir.
What is your take on that?
My take on that would be, well, to be honest, I used to actually work for the police department. While I was working for the sheriff department. So some people bring on themselves, to be honest.
Okay, very good.
So I mean, I don't really want to get into that.
Well, I could do that. I want to get into it, but I want to explain what you just said. You said something very important that I want to get out in the public. See, ever since we've had a police system, African American men have been abused, but they are abused more now than they were when I was a child, when we had more segregation and everything. But our parents taught us to behave in a way by which we were not abused.
Right.
So what I want the young people to do is recognize the authority of the policeman. And I think that's where you were sort of coming
Correct.
from. See, very seldom do you see any situation. There are a few exceptions. One exception was in the New York situation where this man was standing on the sidewalk there doing a little mine or something, and 4 or 5 policemen beat him up and killed him.
Right.
That's an exception. But in most cases, when policemen bother African American people, they have not learned how to respect the power and authority. So I want you out there who are listening, if a policeman stop you, respect him. He's in a position of authority.
Correct.
And he has power. We got to respect that and don't get smart. and you probably won't get even beaten because they have authority to beat you. If you resist arrest, they can pop you side the head. And that's what my generation learned. I never did hear of a black person being abused by a policeman when I was coming along because our mothers taught us to respect the power that they had. They have the power to arrest you. They have the power to kill you legally. And we knew that. So I think that's where you were coming with that.
Right.
And I wanted that to be known today. We have 1 minute. Briefly say whatever you'd like to say about your paper.
Well,
Your magazine, I'm sorry.
it's fine. Well, Envision magazine, it's going to go places, most definitely. It's not just local. It's actually nationwide.
What?
So, yeah.
Nationwide? How did tell us quickly?
Yes,
How did it get nationwide?
Well, we're working with several others from different states. Like our next issue is going to be featured from someone from Atlanta. So I'm going down there in a few days to go down there and shoot the photos for. It's actually a celebrity in Atlanta, and I'm going to take pictures of them. So
You're just a little genius, aren't you?
I'm trying.
You don't need any. Do you need any silent partners with you? People with money?
Yes, I do, actually.
You probably need to talk to me after the show is over. I like to invest in something that's going someplace. Okay, well look, this is the end of this segment. We have about 1 minute.
You're saying the second segment.
We're going into the second segment. Third segment. Let us stop here for a break, and then I'm going to bring you a marketing part on, okay?
All right.
All right.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
To get in the way before it happens.
To get a friend home safe.
And to not blame the victim.
It's on us.
To look out for each other.
To not look the other way.
It's on us to stand up.
To step in.
To take responsibility.
It's on us, all of us,
to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Those of you who just joined us, I'm Antonio Hobbs, host and founder of this educational program called The School Without Walls. And I have as my guest here a colleague of Mr. Brendan Bateman, who is the owner of a magazine here called the Envision magazine, Envision. And Mr. Robert Davis here is the marketing director of marketing. And before we go further with director, with your role here, I want to talk with you about my role. See, my role as an African-American educator is to be a mentor to young African-Americans, and we have, this program is a part of that, and I have ministers that are working with me. I have one minister, and the reason I say ministers is because they have access to more of our people than anybody else. As a black family, we are in a lot of trouble, right, Brandon?
Yes, sir.
We need all the help we can get, and we can't be bashful with this. We got to be bold. And this minister has, he has about 40 ministers working under him to try to teach our young men like yourself how to dress for success, how to be successful. And you can't be that being stupid. It's just that simple. But you can't do what you don't know. You can't lead where you don't go. These are just important things we need to know, you understand? So what we want to do is expose them. We know a lot of them, a lot of young men, young African Americans don't have a daddy image at home, and we were designed by God to have a mom and a male and a female, right?
Yes, sir.
But it's not your fault where you're born. But what we're trying to do is, as the boys on the street might say, take up the slack and try to help you make yourself presentable to society. So dressing for success is important. You're in marketing, and in this society, you want to recognize where the money is. Now the question I'm going to ask you, so you're marketing this paper, now where is most of the money? Where are you going to find most of the money?
Sponsors.
What type of people?
Sponsorships.
Sponsorship.
Just like you said, a lot of ministers, a lot of businesses. That's basically where it comes from.
It's got to be folk with money, right?
Yes, sir.
That's first. They got to have money before they can support your magazine. So that's the first thing in marketing. You want to figure that out. And most of the people that have money have businesses, don't they?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're not going to find too many fellows taking out an ad who's just got a job down the street. It's businesses. That's power. And those people respect what you look like, too.
Yes, sir.
See, a lot of them are afraid of you. You walk in there with your unshaved, and your hood on your head and all that. They're afraid of you. So you got to know those things. Now tell me a little bit about the process you've been going through so far to get this beautiful magazine this far. What have you done?
Basically, creating new ideas. Reaching out to that age bracket that's going to support you the most. The older, they're there for most of the sponsorships. They got a lot going on themselves, so they won't be, much is in tune as their younger crowd would be.
Right.
With the media, everything has changed. What I'm saying, as far as promotion.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's more of a social media thing.
Yeah. Explain that to me. I hear a lot of. If you can, explain social media. I've heard, media, I know media, that's media. This is media, right? But you got the social media. What's that all about?
Social media, you got your different social websites, It's just really basically the web.
Can you name some of them?
You got, the most popular one, Facebook. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the new and improved Snapchat.
Can you tell us as the people? What are the first one? Facebook. What are some of the advantages of the Facebook?
Facebook became popular probably about 2007, 2008, and it kind of died down.
But what is it? What does it do? Say I want to get on Facebook.
If you want to get on Facebook, basically meeting new people. That's first off.
Be exposed to a lot of people, right?
Exposed to a lot of, basically everybody over the world. Facebook is mostly, you got every different age bracket on it.
You got this on Facebook? Is this,
yes.
Yeah, it's already on Facebook.
Yes, sir.
Now, how would I access Facebook from my computer? What process would I go through?
It'll be Facebook.com, of course. You get on Facebook, you got the search box, and you just type in Envision Magazine or Second Look Photography. Two different sides of it. Second Look Photography is actually Brandon Bateman's official page.
I see.
And if you want to look at more issues of the magazine or more about the magazine, you'll type in Envision Magazine in the search box, and it'll all pop up.
Okay, quickly, we only have about 3 more minutes. What is another social, what we call it, social
media?
That's one. What is, did you say Twitter?
Twitter.
What in the world is a Twitter?
Twitter.
How could this magazine be connected with that?
It's you get on Twitter, also Twitter pages at Envision Magazine.
Okay.
Twitter is most like it's an update.
And they will see it, right? They will see what.
You have different tweets. Basically, it's just different thoughts.
Okay, we got 2 more minutes. What is another one? We got two.
Facebook, Instagram. Instagram is kind of like a photo, like you talking within photos. It's nothing but photos.
So I notice you have a lot of photos here. Would that be real good for Instagram? So you got a lot of photos here, right?
A lot of those would be perfect for Instagram.
Now, when it comes to this literature, which media would be better for all this, like the writing part, like this right here? Which would be better?
Facebook.
Facebook would be better for this. I see. Okay, we're near the end of this, and certainly proud that you came on. Is there anything you want to say? You got about a minute. This is Mr. Robert Davis, marketing director for Envision Magazine. What else you want to say?
First, I'd like to thank you for having me.
Well, nice pleasure being here.
Well, if you would follow us on Twitter, it's at Envision Magazine. Look us up on Facebook, A Second Look Photography, and Envision Magazine, both on Facebook and Twitter.
I meant to ask this: are you married?
No, sir.
You have sisters, brothers?
Yes, sir.
You from here?
Yes, sir.
Fine, bro. You want to quickly give your mom and dad's name?
Connie Delaney and Robert Charles Davis Sr.
Okay, we're going to end on that. And thank you again for coming.
No problem.